Oh, oh no, no. Oh no. Welcome back, guys. In our last video, we ended up building our other train station all the way over there, and then building this train station, which turned into a nice little modern house design. It still needs to get filled. There's still some things that I got to put in here, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys what we did in the last video. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and click in the top right corner. We're going to come down here to our conversations pit because we hit our like goal, which is awesome. We hit 15 likes by Friday night, which is what I asked, and you guys are able to do it. So all that being said, I just want to say thank you again for continuing supporting this channel and these videos. And because you were able to hit the like goal, here's your bonus video for Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll be continuing the series next Thursday. Thank you. Alrighty, so we're up here at our crystal nodes up here. What we're going to be doing is trying to get all of this organized so we can get this into our train station and then over to our aluminum factory. So we pretty much have two options to go. We have our constructor over here, which is our regular base raw quartz to silica recipe. This will need to get pulled down to 80 to make an even number to kind of make everything make sense to me. Or we could overclock it, which we probably end up doing. This would require a lot of constructors and just generally take a lot more crystal. So what I'm going to opt to do is I'm going to use an alternative recipe, which is way down here. We're going to use the cheap silica, which requires limestone. It's a lot less quartz, but it does require limestone. And if we look on our map, literally right below us is a pure limestone node, which is going to allow us to save a bunch of crystal, which means we have a lot of crystal left over. And if we have crystal left over, that means we can pipe this down into the train station, pull all this down here, and then from there we can have crystal oscillators built. So we have copper nodes, we have iron nodes, so with everything down here and the crystal, we'll be able to make crystal oscillators, which will be the first time that we have that automated. So that's the plan. In this video, we're going to be just working on our silica production, though, and trying to start to build what we're doing right now. So if I can show you what I have going on so far, is I've edged this platform out, and I've put little, like, row pieces underneath it. And the plan is I'm going to take, I try not to kill myself, is I'm going to take these concrete big pillars, these, and I'm going to diagonal them and run them into, I get out of the gas, and run them into the actual side of that to kind of look like it's supported. We'll have a big glass window so we can kind of see everything going on over here. So there's a lot to do today. I'm going to get started on the video, and now I got to climb all the way back up there before I continue working. But it's going to be a lot of good stuff going on today. Let's get into it. So we have a lot of space up here, and our plan is to try to get as much separation between these machines as possible. I mean, in theory, I could go like really, really far, but I want to have a lot of separation and have it all kind of apart from each other as opposed to kind of cramming it in and make it really, really tight. So what I've done is this entire floor is built out of meter ones, except for that like little piece there. And I've lowered this a bunch. So now we're going to sort everything from underneath, kind of like what we do with our manufacturers, but we're going to do with assemblers this time. And then we're building the outer shell of kind of what's going to be this factory up here. So I did end up making like a diagonal thing, which didn't really turn out perfect, but I think I know how to fix this to get it right how I want it. So this is how it's coming along. I'm going to have a big glass window right here so you can kind of come up here and see this factory and whatever we end up building over there and just kind of see everything that we do in this area from up here. So I think it's going to be a really cool spot to be able to view kind of everything going on over there. I just want to give you a little update on what we're doing. Get all this apart, and I'm going to finish laying out these assemblers and start hooking everything up, and then I'll give you an update here in a second. Alright, so we laid all these out. We're overclocking these to 160, which is going to give us 42 per minute. They're running 12 of them, so it should take us up to, I believe, 500 per minute, which is 100 more than we need, which means hopefully the time from this train station to this train station will be accounted for enough to kind of not run that one out. And worst case, I'll just run everything off to the sink with overflow. So I'd rather make more and not be worried about getting this exactly perfect, because it is going to take time for this to travel to here from there. And if I don't get that time right, then everything's going to be all messed up. I'm going to just make a little bit more than I need to. It's perfectly fine. I can overclock that down there to get to the limestone numbers that we're going to need. So pretty much all I'm doing now is I laid all these out. I got 12 of these all the way down 6 by 6. And then all I'm doing right now is I took out this little center strip. I'm taking these conveyor Mark 1s, and I'm just bringing them down here. Our plan is to try to run everything with our splitters through the center of this. There's a good chance that I'm just going to use like a manifold, an overflow line just all the way through, and just let it kind of figure itself out, because there are some pretty kind of small numbers. I believe the quartz only require 18 per minute for each of these, And if I wanted to try to sit here and figure all that out, I think it's going to be really, really intensive. So this is what I'm going with. Just want to give you guys a little update. I'm going to keep working on this. And then once I get all this set up, I'll start to set up the splitter lines down here to show you guys what we're going to do. I'm probably going to run them right over the top of each other and then just offset the splitters for the top row to kind of get it lined up with this where it needs to go. So I'm going to do all that, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. Well, this is a problem. I'm out of jetpack fuel, which means I need to take the hyper tube and hope I don't hit anything and die. So, I'm gonna try to figure this problem out, and I'll be back to this in a second. Oh, oh no, no, oh no, oh no. See, normally that wouldn't be a problem. If I just had a jetpack, that wouldn't be running along the train tracks. Oh boy. Alrighty, so we made it all the way back over here, and I just want to show you guys that I am never going to run out of fuel again, because that was terrible. I pretty much had to take the hyper cannon and try to blast myself into a tree over there, and I kept dying. It kind of worked out. I got my fuel. We're all good. We're going to stockpile this somewhere where I can keep it, just so if I run out, I have plenty of extra to work with. We're going to go back up there, and we're going to keep working on our stuff. Okay, so we placed all of our conveyor lifts here. And what we're doing right now is we're laying all of our splitter lines. So we have our first set right here. That's going to be the concrete coming in from this side, which would be your concrete limestone stuff over there. Sorry, I keep calling it concrete. That's not the word. It's limestone. So limestone's going to come from in there. It's going to run through and be split off to these lines. This is going the opposite direction. This will be our crystal quartz coming in from the other side. So pretty much all we're going to do is delete the one underneath it. And it's going to float a little bit, but that's okay. We'll probably put some of these conveyor stacker pull things like right here. Just kind of look like it's not suspended. I don't know. We'll play around with it and see what we can come up with. Worst case, just leave it floating. It's underneath here, so it really doesn't matter all that much. But I just want to show you guys how I'm going about doing it. So I'll do the last one right here. Make sure it's lined up. And then I want to make sure that's going in the right direction. So pay attention to that little orange one there. And we're going to delete all these underneath. And we should be able to lay all the lines out, and I'll show you what it looks like. So we're just going to leave this floating. It's really not that big of a deal. This is like technically kind of like a maintenance section, so you're never really going to be down here. We pretty much just ran Mark 4 lines. I probably could have got away with running Mark 3 lines, but I don't have any steel beams with me. So we're just going to do Mark 4, and that'll be fine. So then it's just about trying to get close to the number that we need being pulled in here. I'm probably going to change the last end of it here, like these ones, to smart splitters. So on both sides, you'll have a smart splitter to kind of have an overflow, just so we can kind of utilize anything that gets looped out of the system. So we have overflow and something like maybe we can make concrete up here just to kind of have it, just so we have something. I'm going to probably add that in here, and then the last little bit here is going to be setting up mergers to get all this together, which I'll probably do right now. And then I just hook everything up, power it, and then kind of build the stuff around it, and this should be mostly set up. So I'm going to get working on it. I'm going to start the merges right now, and I'll be back a little bit. Alright, so the merger is pretty simple. Same thing, runs through the floor, comes down here, goes through a set of mergers and a little bit of a U. I did add this conveyor lift right here to kind of get it up so we can walk around down here and not have to deal with jumping over lines or sliding under anything. So this just runs all the way across into these set of mergers, which will go down to the end, which this is the closest one to our train station over there. So this is why I wanted to kind of end on this one. So then all we really have to do from here is just run it through whatever sort of transport we have, whether it's just a straight line with a conveyor or what we're going to do. So that's being said, this is all good. We're probably going to set up a little resource sink right now just to kind of dump the amount of stuff we're going to make, just so we can make sure that the system's running before we actually hook it up into all of this. So I'm going to get working on that. What is this? What? I have never seen that thing do that. That's enough of this. Okay. Alright. Okay. We're not doing that. Alrighty, so here's my plan to hide all of the electronic stuff. So underneath each of these assemblers, I gotta do that side, but I put just this regular wall outlet Mark 1. My plan is, I don't have cable, but my plan is just place right underneath it. I should be able to connect to there and then run right through the middle of it. You shouldn't really see that there's even a wire there. So I'm gonna connect all these down to here and then run the line to the very end, and then I can hook it up into the actual power system over here. So I'm gonna go grab some cable real quick, and then I'll be back here with an update in a second. Dude, these things are really starting to creep me out, man. I don't like the sound they make. Just, they're weird. Alright, we're gonna keep working. Alright, so we hooked all the wires up, and there's virtually no wires up there at all. I mean, you can still kind of see that they're there if you really, really look at it, but for the most part, it's all good. So we hooked it all the way down. We would link this one to a little double wall outlet here. And then just on the other side of this, if we take this and hook it into our train line, now all these should be yellow. And look at that. No wires, no mergers, no splitters. It's all just isolated up here. I think we're going to add a couple little walls in here and put some glass flooring in here so we can actually see all the stuff coming into that, because I think it's going to look really, really cool. Just kind of see the actual splitting going on and kind of make it a little bit of a feature of the build as opposed to just covering it up. So I'm going to add that because I think it's going to look awesome. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Okay, so while I was boxing this in, I did have to kind of lift this up just based off where this is at. If you put this up a little higher, you probably won't have this problem, but I just did one and then set it right on top of it. And with that kind of messing it up, this splitter merger things are only 2 meters tall. So I put basic wall, just 2 of them, and then I put the conveyor wall to match up. And I put 2 more on top of it to kind of make it right. The other side should be fine because it's right at ground level, but this one was a little bit off, so I just want to show you guys how I managed to fix that. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Alright, so with it being nighttime right now, it doesn't really look the best, and I'll have to see what it looks like in the daytime. But we may just take these glass frame foundations out of here just so we can kind of see what it actually looks like, because it's really not easy to see in there. But it looks really, really cool with all this stuff removed. So we're going to let this be for now, and we'll check it out in the morning and see what it looks like. Now we're going to move on to our next step, which is just be feeding this with our crystal and then feeding it with our limestone down there. Once you have all that, we should have a running system. So let's keep working, and we'll be back in a second. Yeah, we're just going to have to leave it open. The glass is really kind of obscuring it. Even in the daylight, you could hardly see through it. So we're going to leave this open like this. I might put some pillars and stuff to kind of make it look a little bit more supported. But we're going to hook all this up. We have everything brought over here. We just got to hook up these last 2 belts. We have our limestone right here. And this should be pulling in here and going up everything as it moves down. You should see it go up to our little lifters and start getting transported up the wall. Then we're going to add our other little line over here, which would be our crystal. And this is like a manifold, so this is going to take a little bit of a while for everything to kind of get to where it needs to be. And that's okay. I don't mind waiting, but we're going to have to let this run for a little bit. So why isn't it coming in? That's my problem. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the problem was. I just deleted the wall and was able to get it to work. So we'll put this wall back in here real quick, and we'll watch all this kind of run. Change this back to concrete. If we run back around our whole thing, because I don't have a staircase yet, we can start to see everything is kind of working its way in there. It's gonna take a while. It is a manifold and it is set up for the correct numbers, so I may have to actually add some stuff to actually get it to work properly. It's coming in from 2 different sizes, so we're gonna have to see how everything works out. But we're gonna let this run for a little bit. I'm gonna set up a resource sink over here and just see how everything's working. So I'll be back in a little bit after I let this run. Alright, so it does look like this still has a ways to go, but they are starting to fill up actually pretty good. So this one's completely full. Every once in a while it'll kind of run through and pull a little bit off, but this line's filling up. This is good. This one's starting to get a lot more consistent, and then so on and so on. So we're gonna have to see if it's able to keep up all the way on the end. But right now we have all these running and everything's looking good. So we're gonna start working on our next steps while we wait for this, which is gonna be starting to box this in, working on this whole ordeal over here. So I'm gonna get working on that. There should only be, I think, about like 5 more minutes left in recording time, but we're gonna get done what we can and kind of see how much progress we can make. So let's get into it. All right, so we're underneath pretty much that big platform up there. We took the inverter ramps, we backed it up just one, and then we took the double ramps and moved it down and had these little cross beams. So I'm gonna jump down real quick and see what this looks like, because I feel like it's gonna look good. I actually need to fix this because this is wrong. Let me take this out real quick. That was 1 off. I thought that was 2. I thought that was the end of it. You know what? Make mistakes. That's okay. We're gonna fix that real quick, and then we're gonna jump down here and check this out. I think it looks really cool, but I kind of got to check it out and make sure that everything looks fine before I go away with it. It wasn't what I was gonna do originally. And you know what? I actually really like that. I think it could be a little bit further away. Might move this piece up one just to kind of get it away from this rock. And then I need to build this wall all the way down and kind of box that in. So I like that. Let me know what you guys think of it. Another option I could do is I could resort to using these big concrete pillars, which will be a little bit thinner, kind of go across this as opposed to this being pretty thick, just to kind of run across here. So let me know what you guys think of it. I really like it so far. We're gonna do the same design underneath. I know that gets louder when I walk by, but I'm looking up, I can't really see straight. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm not going to merge the ends of it though. So this isn't gonna connect to this piece over here, which is perfectly fine. And actually I may have to use something a little bit smaller because I think these are going to be too big to kind of put that over there. So we're going to go back up there and try to finish that, and we're going to see what it looks like. All right, so this is what I came up with. It's really not the best, and the reason why I did it like this is because there's definitely not enough room to do anything quite like this. I could probably angle these into the mountain a little bit, kind of make it work, but I still think that it would be pretty far off, and I don't even think you'd really be able to see them. So I'm going to work on this a little bit more, but I think with everything set up, I think that we're getting pretty close to the end of the video. This still needs some work, and I took off these bars in between, and now it looks a little bit blank. So let me know what your opinions on if I should do the bars across. I'm probably going to rework these because I really don't like how this is. And then we just have to build like a nice glass thing up top here, and just kind of see how it all looks, and we're going to keep working on it. There's a lot more space up here for this factory than probably what this all entails, because really we just have the excess limestone, which you can overclock to make concrete up there, and then we have the rest of the crystals that can be transformed into the crystal. I'm confusing myself. The quartz can be turned into the crystal. I've been calling that wrong thing all episode long, and I just realized that. But we can turn that into the crystal stuff, and then we can trash that or transport that over to here. There's really not a lot up here to be done, and this is a really cool thing. So I'm going to have to see what we can actually add. It looks like there's some iron over here we can probably pull into here. There might be some more stuff back here that we can make actually a big factory up here and just kind of get everything going, because this is a really cool setup so far, and I really like how it's coming along. Before I ramble too long, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys for hitting the like goal, and I'll see you next Thursday.